Hello guys. So this is a post-market analysis of 15th of December. A volatile session. Yes, we got the gap down and then some red candles, random red candles here and there. Right. So still, if you simply ask me a question that who won the day, it is actually the bulls who survived. Right. The market was volatile and we saw the gap down opening of 100 points as expected because though the inflation numbers were really good, but the gap down was mainly because of the last day US market have fallen, right? Nifty even broke the important intraday level, but the closing behavior, if you see, that tells us an entirely different story. And that's exactly what we need to decode. So we got the gap down opening, but the market did not collapse, though it made an attempt by breaking the 200 EMA. But still, from 25,900 level, they have recovered, right? So Gift Nifty was in fact pointing 100-point gap down. So that's exactly what happened. And Nifty also we expected to open around 26,000. So from there, just below that, it just came down till 25,900 level, and that's exactly where they took the support. Okay, so 900 they took the support. You got a beautiful candle and then it just went up, and in fact whatever gap was there, it filled also. From there was a dip and then made a double top, and the double top is made exactly at that gap fill, and that's the concern now. So tomorrow, whether this double top is going to be broken on the upside or from here a fall is going to come is what we need to wait and watch, because that double top is coming exactly at the area where we got the gap. So gap fill, got a rejection, further went up, and again got a rejection exactly at the same area, made a double top. So we are waiting what is going to happen. In fact, many of my mentees are actually carrying the put for tomorrow. Okay, so see, 26,000 is not a technical level. 26,000 is a psychological level. Technically, 25,850 and 25,800, and now I would say it's 25,700 because last day it went till 25,700, and from there the bounce have happened. So we can take a range of 25,700, right? And there is no EMA, there is no Fibonacci, which is there at 26,000. So we look for 25,700, 25,800 as the major support. And still, market today have reversed from 25,900 level, not even went to 25,800, and that's mainly because of our inflation numbers again is really good, much below. It's just 0.71 something, and that's the lowest inflation that I have ever seen. So that's why the market have sharply recovered from 25,900. So it just came to 900. Immediately you got a beautiful candle because sentiment was good with respect to Indian market, but the global sentiment was weak at that moment. VIX was also rising, which was a concern. So VIX was rising and gap down. So everyone went after the put side on the downside. So you got a couple of red candles. And then what happened is because of VIX spiking, the premium have also spiked on the put side and it was artificially inflated. But when you start getting the move on the upside, that premium have lost completely. And many of you might have suffered on the put side, despite the fact that you didn't get a sharp up move even in the initial after, if you have entered on the put side. That's mainly because of the IV crash. And IT stocks were recovering so fast. Infosys basically led the recovery, and in fact that stabilized Nifty. And later in the session, if you look at it, bank stocks also have joined the recovery. And you look at Bank Nifty's real strength. Bank Nifty moved up almost 1% from intraday low to intraday high, if you consider from the low to the high. Nifty also, it's just Nifty didn't move 1%. It's 25,900 to 2643, which is around 150 point, which is close to 0.6 percentage. But Bank Nifty have moved almost 1%. So HDFC Bank was falling today. HDFC Bank has nearly 30% weightage in Bank Nifty, if you see. So even after the rebalancing, it still have around 25% weightage. So 25-30% weight of the Bank Nifty is falling, but still Bank Nifty moved significantly strongly up. So what does that mean? So basically, the other banks showing really good strength, especially the PSUs are getting strong, and breadth inside the banking is actually improving. And this is not a weak market behavior. This is actually indicating there is strength in the market, especially the financial sector, especially the banking sector, especially after the reduction of repo for the third consecutive time, and RBI came up with the open market operations and injecting liquidity. Especially the banks are getting that benefit. So that's the reason why the market is not weak, especially when it comes to the banking. The breadth inside banking is clearly improving, especially the public sector banks. Okay. Now, index performance, again, if you look at it, for the third consecutive day, Bank Nifty have closed higher. Nifty have closed in green for the last two consecutive days. Today, it closed. Today also, it's a green candle, right? So it's a that's again showing some positivity, just that it is showing double top exactly at the gap fill. That's the only concern. So these are the main things that I need to discuss. And when it comes to the open interest, the technicals and other things, I think it will be better that I'll explain in the pre-market tomorrow. So see, again, October, there is nothing much to discuss apart from that for today's behavior. Only concern is initially the VIX was spiking, and now if you look at it, it's a double top which has been made exactly at you know a last day's high. So that's the only concern. The gap is also filled. Otherwise, everything is looking perfectly fine. So global cues, if you look, if you look at Asian markets were down in the opening. So similarly, we got the gap down and then slightly went down. Again, if you look at the European markets, afternoon it turned green, so we have moved higher, continuously. And Friday, Nasdaq have fallen 2%, and that's the impact that we have seen today. And today, if you look at the US futures were recovering, so we have seen that impact also today. So one of the reason why we are still holding the 26,000 and closed above 26,000, I think that could be that could be because of the global recovery. That could be one of the reason. Okay. So the range is now obvious that it could be 25,700, which is a recent low, to 26,300, which is all-time high. So this is a range. Maybe if I need to talk about tomorrow's expiry, let's say 25,800 to maybe 26,100. If I need to take a short range, but to go with a bigger range, 25,700 and 300, only above and below that only you'll be getting significant gamma spike. Otherwise, it will be fine to manage, right? So these are the things that we need to discuss. Now, VIX is telling us an entirely different story. In fact, as I told you just before, VIX was rising. It was 6% at one point of time. But VIX, if you look at the recent low, it's around 10.05. And slightly higher close is what we have seen today, but still VIX is extremely low. Now, what VIX is indicating? Market expect only 10% annual movement. That's what you mean by 10%. So the option premium is also, when the expectation of the move is less, the premium will also be less, because you are going to trade in a tight squeezed range, means the premium also gets squeezed. So the option sellers is not going to get benefit. Option buyers, it's a good time that you can buy and hold. The time decay won't get affected, and you are getting at a cheaper premium. By any chance, if VIX is spike, then you'll get expansion of the premium. That's good. But the problem is, when you're trading with index and weekly expiry, that advantage is not there. At the same time, if you're someone who's a scalper, you're not getting that move. So premium is remaining pathetic, and the move is also very less. And that's why you see selling the next year. If you're someone who's selling the far month straddles, it's not that attractive at this point of time. So normally I suggest my mentees, if you're someone who's selling straddles quite like 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, when VIX is high, that's when you'll be selling, because you'll get the premium more. Now, if you are selling, then you will be in a disadvantageous position. If VIX is spiking, the one which you sold will automatically spike. So that's something which you need to keep in mind if you're someone who's planning to sell options for quite later period of time. So these are things again. Remember, VIX at 10 cannot sustain forever. Especially FIA is selling. So VIX spike, and when VIX spike, everything changes. So you cannot take any aggressive position for by selling long-term options at this point of time when VIX is just 10, because premium is squeezed. So again, if you look at stock specific, Reliance is slightly down, HDFC is down, ICICI and others is basically up. IT stocks, in fact, recovered from the loss, and auto stocks is showing some kind of weakness. Overall, it's plus minus a consolidation sideways market is what we can expect for quite some time. And that's what exactly VIX is also telling us. But here and there in between VIX is spiking, that actually raises a concern. Right, today also we have seen 6% spike. And see, market is not weak. It's just that it got compressed. And at this point of time, 26,000 is acting as a magnet. It just come down and goes to the 26,000 close above that. So it's just staying there only. And option sellers are benefiting from this volatile, low volatility. As of now, it is low volatile. But again, this low VIX is not going to last forever. That you need to keep in mind. And if you are a long-term option seller, this is not the time where you will be selling like far month options, right? So you can just go with the weekly. That's something which you can do, not for the far month, because if VIX spike, that premium will rise automatically. So this is something which will eventually expand, right? That volatility will expand. So we'll wait and watch. If you're a scalper, I understand that you're facing some problem when it comes to the trading this market. So your time also will come. That's all what I want to discuss. So see you guys in the next session, pre-market analysis. We will look at the open interest and the technicals and other things. So see you tomorrow. If you're looking for any live market mentorship, get in touch with us. I see you there.